and welcome back to another episode with Cities with John. This is a special edition as we are building a bridge downtown. We already have kind of a bridge in place here, but we are going to be making a custom bridge to go along with this and be a great backdrop to downtown. I'm Cities Harper for now, and I appreciate you joining me today. Hit that like button, subscribe, and all that. So we're talking about this strip right here, and we are going to connect this whole downtown area that hasn't been built yet with the areas from episode 1 through 5, which are over here. As a quick recap, we're talking about the Lower Canals, Robin Park, and Fern Valley. That was on my recent episode 5, Industrial Zone Fern Valley. And those are the areas that we're going to connect with this new area of downtown. And like I said, we've already got some infrastructure in place. We're just going to make some custom bridges, and we're using Shroom Blaze Crux Magic from the workshop. So be sure to download this and give the guy a big, great 5-star ratings. These are tremendous bridges. They look fantastic. And thanks a lot for your hard work, Crux Magic. Really enjoy these bridges. So, without further ado, we'll get started. So, for those of you who watched my cantilever bridge episode, custom bridges can be a little bit on the tricky side, but they basically all kind of work the same once you get used to them. They are usually a form of an asset. So in this case, this is a piece that is underneath your Parks tab. However, you can just use Find It to look it up to find the correct bridge that you want to use. Now these bridges are very colorful right off the bat, as you can see, and they come in 4 different colors. So using Move It, we're going to copy and paste and hope for the best with using different colors and hope that these colors all end up being different. So far so good. This one will not be different. Whoa, okay, they all came out the same. Wonderful. Or different, I guess. Usually you end up getting the same colors over and over, but that works out really well. So basically the way custom bridges work is once you plop down those bridges, you just kind of use Move It to adjust it, but you're using the road that is already in place. There is not a road built into the actual asset. There are some bridges out there on the workshop that do have the roads actually already built into it, but these do not. So basically what you have to do is go along, as I'm doing now, adjusting the nodes and making sure everything is nice and leveled, nice and centered, and all that. Not too hard to do, fairly straightforward. I think the biggest misconception with these custom bridges is that you actually have to get a bridge that has the roads built in, and you do not. So once you find the bridge that you want, and this is a bridge that I highly recommend, I think it makes a great backdrop to any city, especially a city like this in a tropical area. It's very colorful, and I think it works really, really well. So there's 3 reasons that I decided to do a custom bridge here and a bridge in general. This bridge was part of my grid video that I made. However, it did not connect all the way over to the tram line. Now it does, and so the main reason we want to do is we want to connect, like I said, to those other areas. Let's get rid of the speed limit. Well, no, we can't do that because that will get rid of all these speed limit signs on every road in the game. We'll have to come back to that. We'll figure out how we're going to hide those speed limit signs. The reason I want to hide them is because the speed limit on that particular highway there is 65. This is not meant to be an interstate road. It's not meant to be a freeway. This is only kind of like an elevated parkway to kind of connect the rest of downtown. It could be used as a bypass because it's only going to have a couple of connections. So you see the connections that are already there. Those are the ones that were in place. However, we are going to be changing those up just a tad. We're not going to do much different with them as far as where they're coming off of the road, but we are going to change where they are connected with the rest of the grid over here. So Reason number one is to connect with the other areas. Reason number two is these bridges will make a great backdrop for downtown. This area between the canals is, spoiler alert, where I'm really going to put in my biggest high rises. I just think it's going to look really cool right here next to the canals. I plan on probably doing that on my next downtown episode. I'm kind of foaming at the mouth. I guess that's not the correct terms. Salivating over putting in some skyscrapers finally on this map. We have built suburb after suburb after suburb, and even after going through and making the Lower Canals and the Robin Park District, they don't really have that many tall buildings. So here I'm just kind of doing a little tweaking, and I'm trying to get every one of these bridges to be basically the same distance apart. So, and then also just taking the buildings, lowering them, and just doing some tweaking here or there to make it all work. The road that I'm using here is part of a highway pack, and I will leave the link for that in the description below. But the only issue I have with this one is anytime you have a big curve in it, it does split that barrier down the middle. I love the barrier, and I love the fact that this is a really wide road that has a barrier. But when you have a curve, it actually splits it. Not the end of the world, but something you have to keep in mind when you're building with this particular piece of highway. So as we take a look, you'll see there's a few spots where the bridge is overlapping onto another bridge. So the assets are overlapping and you get a little bit of some glitch, and we will come back and fix that momentarily. So starting off, we are going to connect a road, and we're going to go all the way across over here next to the actual interstate, and we will end up connecting that and have an entrance and an exit connecting to that road that will connect you right to downtown. There is multiple levels, as you can see, to this part. I had to fix that little blue mantra right there. That would have bothered me a lot. There are multiple levels in downtown, and it just kind of all goes along with this portion of the map is somewhat below sea level. There's big canals that help water flow through the city and kind of get things flowing out to the ocean, so there's not mass flooding when there's flash floods, and my map is prone to some rain here or there, and sometimes we just have major monsoons and rain just comes through, and there's a lot of low-lying areas that get flooded. So that's why the canals were built in the first place. But these bridges kind of correlate with the entire area as far as a tropical theme, but having this bridge in place, having the multiple roads and elevated highways, do my little truck test to make sure we can get traffic underneath there. Having them in place and having a good structure and bridge structure here will allow drivers to get around the map. Even in the case of some areas being low-lying and flooding, it shouldn't be an issue if that situation arises. So now we're going to come back and try to fix these heights. We want this road to be the same height all the way across. We don't want any part of it to be any different. And you can see there's a little bit of the road there glitching on the bridge. So we can actually adjust that intersection, and then, let's see, looks like we're pretty much good down here. This little on-ramp's kind of, let's see if we can maybe adjust that. Tell you what, we'll take this concrete barrier down just a tad. Concrete wall down just a tad, like so. So all I did there is I just used a concrete wall to make it appear like that is all one piece, that those are actually holding up the road when they are actually not. There are some nice network roads that have that built in, but as you might have seen in previous videos, it doesn't always work right, and it can be a little bit of a pain at times. So I just chose to do it this way, and I think that looks just fine actually. I like how that turned out. So, and that ramp now looks a lot straighter. So you can see there's a little bit of, let's add, yeah, we can put in a stoplight right here. There we go. And now we need to raise this up just a hair. There we go. So with these custom bridges, the main thing, did I ever mention what number 3 is on my 3 reasons we're doing these bridges? Well, that's good, because number 3 was a bad joke. Number 3 was I thought I'd make a cool video. Okay, that was number 3. Whatever. All right. Okay. So yeah, let's take care of these little glitchy. See that little overlap there? That's just because the 2 bridges are very close together. So we can just take that. We'll just drop that a little bit. Drop the purple bridge just a tad. All right, I got rid of that, I believe. Good. These pillars are a little bit raised, so what we need to do is right here we're going to have to, let's just move this over just a hair. I don't want that pillar to run over that sidewalk too much. We just want to try to keep all these bridges nice and even, kind of giving the appearance that they're all the same structure when they're really not. So all right, so yeah, good, nice little underground road there, and let's add a few pillars just to give that a nice finished look. I love doing these multiple level roads. Right now there's not any traffic over here because there's nothing for traffic to go and do, but there soon will be, and that's what I'm preparing for. I'm really getting ahead of it. In previous maps that I've made, especially when I first started playing this game, and especially when I was playing vanilla, and of course vanilla is a lot different because you don't have unlimited money. However, you have to be smart about your money when you're playing vanilla, but you can't really build too far ahead on your infrastructure, especially if you're playing with the tiles that you have on unlock and all that. But it's always good to look ahead, plan ahead when it comes to traffic, because the worst thing that can happen is you basically are to a point where you have such bad traffic that you have to basically redo a lot of buildings and things like that in order to get the traffic right, and that's always a pain in the butt, tearing down buildings just to make room for new roads and things of that nature. Don't recommend it. Don't recommend it at all. Here I just use single pillars to make it look like a double pillar. And here is our finished product. We've got everything connected, ready to go. This looks really good. I really like the way it turned out. It was even able to sneak a road underneath there, as you can see. And nice traffic flow going. Joke's on them. There's a huge toll. You'll never know about it. Some nice finishing touches as I was able to put some light props on the side of the bridges. Wow, that looks great. Not to toot my own horn, but I think this turned out really well. Those light props, I just matched the colors, evened them out perfectly, spaced them out just perfectly. I think that looks really good, and it's going to make them look fantastic at night, and an excellent backdrop to the downtown that doesn't exist just yet, but it will very soon. Well, thanks for watching today's Cities with John episode. If you like what you see, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more content, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.